All right, folks. Some of you may be retiring in the next couple of years. Maybe you're already retired. And you might be thinking to yourselves, geez, this is not what my parents did when they retired. Or retirement seems a lot different than 20, 30 years ago. And you are absolutely correct. Retirement has changed dramatically. And we're going to go over why today and what are some things that we can do about it. So, first, we're going to go over what was retirement like 20 years ago and how did that actually work. So, a couple of things. One, we had this thing we called the retirement stool, all right, that was, right? And really, there are three parts of this stool that we're going to be going over today. The first part of the stool, back 20 years ago, we had something called a pension. Now, for some of you folks out there today, you might still have a pension. It might not be nearly as much as what it used to be 20, 30 years ago. But most people today do not have a pension. So when you look at what a retirement plan looks like, pension might not be there anymore. We also had Social Security. So Social Security was there. So most people had two forms of income. They had their pension, right? That was normally guaranteed for their life and guaranteed for their spouse's life. Then we also had Social Security, which is also guaranteed for both spouses' lives. And the last leg, we had personal savings. This might be some extra money they had laying around in some stocks, CDs, bonds, mutual funds, whatever it may be, they had on the personal savings side. Now, 20 years ago, they might not have needed this money here because they had all the income they needed from their pension and Social Security. Now, folks, this looks a lot different today. And the reason for it, for one, this pension thing, we don't really have one. Most people don't have pensions today. And because of that, they're more reliant on these other two stools. Now, here's the thing Social Security, most people would argue it might not be as strong as it was 20, 30 years ago. I can make that argument. It might be going down in the future, it might not. No one really knows. But it's not really as strong as what it was like when your parents retired 20, 30 years ago. So it's kind of cracked, right? We kind of have, it's not in the best shape per se. It's still there, but not in the best shape. And lastly, we have personal savings. For people retiring today, your biggest thing that we're seeing is that we are more reliant on our personal savings than ever. These are your 401ks, these are your IRAs, right? These are things that really make or break your retirement. And they're in investments that go up and down in the market. So the question is, how can we retire without fixed income? What does that look like? And here's the thing, folks. It all comes down to proper planning. And proper planning can give you this retirement you're looking for, but it's a little more complicated and you need either you to figure it out or a professional like ourselves here at Costanza Financial Advisors to figure out on how that looks like when you retire. Here's what I mean. If we don't know how we're going to take income from our 401ks, IRAs, almost treat it like it's a pension, right? To make sure that we don't run out of money, then we're going to be in trouble. Now, retirement is not a complicated subject. All right, we have our income, right? We have our expenses. If we can be positive after that equation, then we're doing all right in retirement. As long as that income doesn't stop and we run out of money. So the real whole point of this, figuring out what your Social Security is, let's say it's $3,000 a month. And then we have to take, let's say, $3,000 a month from our personal accounts to get that 6,000, which is around what our expenses are today. Okay. The key is how are we going to get that $3,000 and how do we know it's going to last our whole retirement? And that's where that income plan comes into play. Now, what that income plan actually does, one, it tells you what accounts we're going to be pulling from, in what order we pull from our accounts, because you might have Roth, you might have IRAs, you might have brokerage accounts. Which one do you pull from first? That's another video that we're going to have here shortly on which one you actually pull from first. And then third, how much from each account over how long a period of time to make sure we don't run out of money. This is something that we do for our clients every single day. And if you don't have an income plan, I would definitely look into getting one because we got to make sure it's $3,000 a month, right? That you're going to receive that every single month without running out. We even talk about inflation here, but that 3,000 might turn into 4,000 down the line because inflation goes up. We have to be ready for that too. So folks, retirement's a lot different than what it once was. There's more planning involved around it because we have to rely on our personal savings, not a pension anymore. Stay tuned for more videos, subscribe, and like the video below.